Alright, this is Andrew with Joda Home Inspections. I am doing a sewer scope today here in Layton. Today is June 23rd, 2026. And we are at 149 North Fort Lane, Unit A. I have the camera pushed out 156 feet. That's as far out as my camera will go. And it doesn't appear that we've dropped into the city line. I was pushing out some waste, and so it's possible that with waste on my camera head I dropped into the city line, but if that is the case, then we will likely see the transition as I pull back. We're underwater right now, which means that this line doesn't have proper grade. You never want a line to be sloped flat where waste is going to have a harder time escaping. And you'll notice this is pretty stagnant. This is not running water. This is water that's just sitting there. This isn't as bad. It's fairly shallow. I'm starting to come out of it. The first part was, as is this, we're staying underwater. I'm going to stop for a minute just so you can see it's not actually running. You see all the way swirling as I pull the camera back. That's because my camera is moving, not because the water is. Underwater again. This is a very long line. Average length of a line that I see is about 100 feet. I would recommend getting a map of the line from the city. It's usually something you can just request, and they'll give you a drawing of your sewer line, and then you can see how long it is, where it runs. If this is going out into the main road, it would be a lot harder to ever address this line and dig it up and slope it. Not necessarily harder, but it's a lot more money because you have to open up the asphalt, you have to have crews managing traffic. This part looks better. This is plastic. Again going underwater, so starting to come out of it. That standing water contributes to some of that buildup. Right here it's not horrible, but as water sits in a line, grease will settle and it builds up and creates a sticky spot where bigger pieces of waste have an easier time getting caught. I think this could be a liner. If you look at the top, how there are little ripples. Yeah, I think this area is a liner. Yeah. That looks like a joint, but you can't see an actual gap, which further supports it being a liner. Liners usually have a text, which I'm not seeing. So just to recap, I was not able to see the entire line. I was out 150 feet and didn't look like we dropped into a city line. Next step I would recommend is first getting a map from the city and verifying that it is actually that long and that we hadn't dropped into a city line or 100 feet out or something like that. The other thing is you do have a lot of standing water, which means you don't have the best grade, and so it's not necessarily one person's issue when it's a shared line, but it could be a costly issue, and even splitting it multiple ways, it could still be a big expense. Going going to end this recording now. Well, actually, the last thing I'll say, just because there is some standing water and some bad grade, doesn't necessarily guarantee that it's going to cause a backup. You're just more likely to have a backup because of that. I do want to make that clear that it's certainly not ideal, but it's no guarantee that it's going to cause the backup. I'm going to end this recording now.